Hello everybody, this is Eugene, former WWE superstar, and today I'm going to pull back the curtain on what it's like to be a playable character in a WWE video game. Plus, I'm going to reveal exactly how much WWE paid me. Was it a dream payday or a jaw-dropping disappointment? The answer will definitely surprise you. So Eugene was on 3 of the WWE video games, the Wrestlemania 21 game, the Raw vs. Smackdown 2006, but Eugene was also on the Day of Reckoning video game, which I believe was only on 1 of the video game formats. So being on the video game was actually pretty huge because it was a pretty big check. And not all the wrestlers in the locker room actually made it to the video games. The guys that were in storylines, the guys that were more over, the guys that were selling more merchandise, the guys that were on the live events and the pay-per-views were the guys that were going to get put on the video games. And the undercard guys might have missed out a little bit. So I remember being at Monday Night Raw once, and Jack's Pacific was there, and they got this huge semi-truck trailer, and in the back of the semi-truck is all this electronic equipment, and it looks like a stand-up coffin, and they said, get in there, we're gonna scan you for the video game. And I was like, awesome. When I was around people that weren't directly in the locker room or with WWE, like with the Jack's Pacific people, I was in character as Eugene. So I had to be my mental focus on being exactly what Eugene would be doing right here and now inside this scanning box. You know, so I get in there and you got to stand, and the thing goes around you and goes up and down in these different positions and different faces like this and just all these different scans so they could get different looks at you. And Eugene might just goof off a little bit because Eugene was kind of a character, if you know what I mean. And sometimes it would just be fun to sit there and be doing the thing and then just start talking about something else and they go, oh, stop, wait a minute, we got to restart. I only did that a couple times because I don't want to waste my whole day sitting in this machine. And then at the end, you can see this thing is digitally scanned your body, but every little detail, you know, the beard, the eyes, the nose, and they can turn you 360 degrees and upside down and not inside out, but you know what I'm saying. And it was really cool to be able to sit there and stand and get all this scanning done and then realize that they can digitally take this and then they put that on the video game. Now, I didn't play the WWE video games a couple times, and I really wasn't very good at playing the video game, doing the wrestling, but what I was good at was actually doing the wrestling for the video game, and that was called motion capture. Now, once I debuted on TV as Eugene, I didn't do motion capture for my own character, but I did do motion capture about a year prior in 2003. I remember Dr. Tom called me and said, Dr. Tom would always do his hair, right? Dr. Tom had the best hair in wrestling. You're going to go out to LA and we're going to do some motion capture. All right, Dr. Tom, let's go. So I was signed with WWE. I was in OVW at the time. It was myself, Dr. Tom, Aaron Stevens, who was Damian Sandow, and my good buddy Horseshoe, who was Luther Reigns. We all went out to LA to do the motion capture. And it was a week-long job. It paid, I think, $1,000, $1,500 for the week, which was awesome. They put us in like Under Armour spandex suits from wrist. I can't remember if we had gloves or not, man, but wrist to ankle and then a head gimmick, right? So only like this was the only thing that really showed. And I don't know if you've seen it before, but they put these little electronic receptors that look like little white balls all over your body. And then they got this, it's not a cage, but it's a structure that's built bigger than like a steel cage. And when you're inside of it, then I guess the computers can all detect how your movements are. And there was a wrestling ring in there, of course. And we did some wrestling moves, some simple wrestling moves, but a lot of it was walk up the stairs, get in the ring, get out of the ring, walk down the stairs, climb to the top rope, climb off the top rope, pick up the chair, swing the chair, set the chair down, open the cage door. Like a lot of movements that you need to do. I mean, this was 2003, so all the Starter Rock and Austin were still in the video games then. They're probably still in when I was on, but they were still on TV. And we would do the stunners and the rock bottoms, and that was pretty much the easy stuff to give and to take. But it was the simple movements that really took the length of the day, which made me think, if I'm doing rock bottoms and stunners and doing all these movements, getting in and out of the ring and setting up chairs, they had to have done this for the last video game and the video game prior and the video game priors, which made me believe that the motion capture redid the same moves and the same movements for every new video game. I'm assuming, as opposed to doing it once and then being able to use it for the video games that came after, which was tedious, but it was a good work week, right? I remember doing a lot of the moves, and they had like a little computer, and they press play. Can you do this move? Yeah, we can do this move. Can you do the crossface? Yeah, can you do the figure four? I can do the figure four. And then they said, we want you guys to do the Dudley Boys. What's up? What's up? What's up? Demon! I thought, simple. I can do a headbutt off the top rope. I've done that before. So Horseshoe grabs Damien Sandow's legs, pulls him up. I'm on the top rope, and we do the what's up? Now, what I didn't realize was when I did a headbutt off the top rope before, I would usually hit somebody in the chest area, right? And when you're flat, you know, your shoulder's only going to be so far off the mat. So when I land, my head can hit perfectly right on the pec muscle. But when you grab somebody's legs and hike their hips up, their body is a little bit higher than that. So when I flew off the top rope, I didn't really register how much higher Damien Sandow's hips and crotch were going to be when I landed, and my head went right into his nuts. I mean, bam, right into his nuts. And he immediately starts selling, which hurt my head. So I'm holding my head, and we're both on the ground rolling, and there's Horseshoe. He was 300 pounds at the time, and when he had the suit on, it compressed his face like this, so it was like, looked like a big fat face. He's going, was that good? Was that good? And we're both rolling around, you know, in pain. Nobody was injured, but it was quite comical. They played it over and over for us because they thought it was very funny. Now, the royalty checks were given to us quarterly, so every 4 months, 3 months? Quarterly, you know, 4 times a year, whatever that comes out to. I ain't no mathematician, I'm just a gimmick, right? So I was on Wrestlemania 21, which came out, I think, in April, and that would have been on 1 quarter royalty check. And then I was in Day of Reckoning, which came out, I think, in maybe August, which would have been on the next quarter royalty check. But the Raw vs. Smackdown 2006 came out in November of 2005, right before Christmas, and it was a huge seller. So this video game was the biggest payday on a quarter royalty check that I made. And for that quarter royalty check, I was always told you're not supposed to say specific numbers, but I made $86,000 in 1 quarter royalty check. I'll say it again, $86,000. And my mind was blown. Now I'm gonna do a little foreshadowing here about another video we're gonna have to do, because I'll eventually go into the reason that I didn't actually get paid any of that money, but that's for another video. But I made $86,000, $86,000 in 1 quarter royalty check. My God, I could have bought a house. I could have bought several cars. I could have bought a vacation. I could have bought, I don't know, new hair. I don't know. I could have bought anything. $86,000 for being in 1 video game. Can you imagine what guys like The Rock and Stone Cold were making for being in several video games time after time after time? These guys had to be making millions on a quarter royalty check. I was happy with $86,000. The biggest check I ever made in my life. WrestleMania 21, we were in LA. And there was a huge event for all the fans, and they got to play the WWE superstars in the WWE Wrestlemania 21 video game. So I remember Batista was there, I was there, Cena was there, Shelton Benjamin was there, and we all were playing against the fans. They would get chosen from a big group. We were at a big restaurant and bar, and it was packed with fans. LA, man, WrestleMania 21, right? WrestleMania goes to Hollywood, and we're all playing the video games, and every WWE superstar got their behinds beaten by the fans, except for one. And that was Shelton Benjamin. Shelton actually played the video games, and he beat every fan. He won the whole tournament. It was a tournament to progress to see who was going to go on and become the ultimate WWE video game wrestling fan superstar video game player. And it wasn't me for sure. I was rotten at it. But Shelton won for everybody, so that kept us, I guess, in good standings as being WWE superstars. I just remember Batista walked off with a girl, Eugene's getting beat, and Shelton's beating everybody. If you like this video and you want to hear me talking about other ways that I made big money in WWE, then you're going to love the video where I talked about what Vince offered me $1,000 to do. And if you want to watch that video, I'm going to put it right here, brother.